Welcome to the Lyfelinez podcast, where performance meets purpose. I'm your host, Dave Hamlet. On this show, we go beyond the world of supplements and into the stories, science and strategies that fuel elite performance. Today's guest is Ben Lynch, founder of UK Calisthenics, elite coach and one of the leading voices in the UK street workout and bodyweight training movement. We're diving into discipline, mindset and the raw power of mastering your own bodyweight. Whether you're grinding for our high rocks, combat or everyday resilience, this one is going to be for you. Let's get into it. I should say welcome, but welcome back. Been here once before, mate. Tell everyone who you are for those who wouldn't seen you on the TRX podcast, my friend.
Sure. My name is Ben Lynch. I am effectively the acting CEO currently of UK Calisthenics organisation.
And extremely strong.
I can do some cool stuff. There's definitely stronger people out there, but I could hold my own. Yeah,
right, good. So what was your job title again, you said?
So I'm the director, and currently the title is events lead. That's kind of what where my area of
tell
expertise.
Normal people that would have no idea what I'm like. What's that mean? What are you doing day to day?
My whole interaction with calisthenics and business is very. If you were to look at it from like a sort of bullet point organizer of a day-to-day schedule, it wouldn't look the same 2 days in a row. It's very chop and change. There's a lot of different things that I'm involved with. So as well as the organization, I also have my own online coaching business. So it kind of, when I've ticked a box on one thing, I then flip to the next thing, tick the boxes there. Yeah. So it's a consistent work schedule. There's always something to do. Always a checklist after that as well. So if I was to break it down into like tasks, let's say, it would be online check-ins for clients with my own personal business. So that would look like going through client videos. So they'd train, they'd film a set per exercise of the program that I've assigned them. They'd send the videos and then I'd do like form checks and analysis and just making sure that everything's working as it should, and the intensity is where we want it to be for their outcome. Is
it there more often than not when you say intensity? I think it's always an interesting.
But yeah, definitely, definitely. Sometimes, like especially with newer clients, they always sort of surprise me. So I'll sort of set them a set and rep range, and then I'll say, oh, okay. So we tend to not prescribe weights or band thickness straight away. That's something that we work out over the process, because I think, especially with calisthenics training, I think quite a lot of people both simultaneously underestimate and overestimate their capabilities. So it's a case of, right, do where you think you are, and then we'll have a look. Yeah, so sometimes it's like, oh, that's way too easy. You're flying on that band. Let's make it thinner, or let's take the band away entirely. See what you can do. Other times it's that form. The breakdown is straight away. You're compensating with this, and this. Let's chuck a band on it. Let's step back a little bit. And I think that it's such a humbling sport in so many ways, and you have to be humble in your own self-analysis as well. But then there's always that sort of nice tightrope walk of being humble and not sort of bigging yourself up too much that you get egotistical with it, but then also on the other end of the scale is not to be too self-deprecating. Where you're like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere, I can't do this, and
become your own worst enemy then.
Of course, and it's finding that balance point. And I guess that's where I come in, and that's what my profession lies in, is keeping somebody on that nice grey area where they're not too cocksure of themselves, but then simultaneously they're not being their own worst enemy.
Where there's nice progress.
So that forms a big part of my day. The other part of my day, so events lead, the title of events lead for the United Kingdom Calisthenics organisation. Essentially, we're very new to the scene. We've been around as individuals for quite some time, but as an organisation and as something that has a mission and a strategy and all that sort of stuff, it's a very new sort of endeavour.
So walk us through, where did it come from? Who started it? What's the mission? What's the statement?
Okay.
What does calisthenics mean for some people who don't even know? I mean, I'm just thinking like parkour.
Sure. So at its root, you can break the word calisthenics down into two Greek words, kalos and sthenos, which means beauty and strength.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
There you go.
Every day's a school day.
There's your value, guys. So yes, beauty and strength. So I mean, it pretty much sums up the entire sport entirely.
Much, yeah.
Because it's not only impressive in terms of the things that are being performed, but there's an element of aesthetic and poise and performance to it as well. So that's kind of, like I say, that's kind of the root of the word itself. Calisthenics in the UK has been going for quite some time. It's sort of definitely a lot more popular than it was, thanks to platforms such as TikTok and Instagram and those types of things. When I started in 2018, so I've been doing it for 7 years now, there weren't many coaches. A lot of the information that people were receiving was through YouTube tutorials. That was the main thing. So you'd go on YouTube, you'd listen to a bloke, you'd trust what he's saying, you'd have a go, and more often than not, if it's a credible source of information, it would work.
Yeah.
Whereas now, which we do have a hand in, there's a lot more coaches available. So there's a lot more sort of high quality education, a lot more gyms that are built specifically for calisthenics. I'm sure that a lot of your listeners have probably been to like a Pure Gym or a gym group or like a chain gym, and you'll see somebody doing it. But 8 times out of 10, they're probably having to fashion something that looks like something else to be able to do the thing. Universally, a pull-up bar is a pull-up bar. However, there's certain setups that work really well. So, for example, if you were to get like a dual cable stack with a pull-up bar in the middle, they've often got those neoprene grips that stick out.
Yeah.
They've got a gap in the middle of those with different grips that you can use. Fantastic in terms of functionality for the pull-up. The grip isn't ideal, but if you're learning a muscle up, it's a massive hack because you can go straight through the middle. Yeah. Whereas on a straight bar, you have to travel around it. Yeah. So it's great in some respects if you're starting to learn it, but then if you want to transfer to the straight bar, you're going to have issues because your movement pattern is completely wrong.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So there's a lot more facilities now that are purpose built for calisthenics,
right?
Which is fantastic. So the more that we can have those, the more outdoor gyms. You've probably seen parks without outdoor gyms and stuff in them. Probably not like the sort of like bikes and the things that you sit on and push your own body weight on, but more like proper rigs. There's a lot more of that now as well. There's a big push for that.
Rig, mate, when I was little, was just a climbing frame. We used to race across them. I used to have a little route through my park where it was like 16.5 seconds was fast. I think we were like running across the monkey bars, up and through them, and you think all that did is evolve into films. Was it one of the famous? Well, it must have been with James Bond one, I swear. Who was the guy that invented parkour? Because this is where this has come from, is it right? Would you say?
It's a different breed. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble with the parkour guys.
Really? So where would you say that? So this is for me then. I would put the same. Why are they not? Why are they not? Why are they different?
So if I was to describe calisthenics, basically when I train in public, so I train at a local park, and then you get like Doris walking down the street, and then like the single mum with the pushchair, they'll stop and they'll say, "Oh, are you a gymnast?" That's the first question they ask me.
Which is just incredible.
Which is amazing. It's very honouring to be asked that question. And then I have to think, how am I going to navigate this landscape now? Because it's a tricky one. Obviously, gymnastics has its heritage. It's a very sort of well-defined discipline. It's an Olympic sport, which is a big thing as well. And it's got its own sort of code of points and rule system and apparatus and all of those sorts of things. So the way that I kind of navigate it is I say, if gymnastics and parkour had a love child, calisthenics would be there.
Nice.
Because it kind of sits right in the middle. So with parkour, obviously, it's more about freedom of movement, utilizing a phrase that we said earlier, the world is your gym, right? Utilizing the things around you to sort of string runs together and those types of things, and move your body around the object. Is the main point. And obviously the freedom that comes with that is a very urban style of training. But then with gymnastics, there's an element of form, control, routine, all of these sorts of things. So it kind of combines the both, because gymnastics is quite prescriptive in its nature of, well, females do these parts of the things. Parkour's completely like you're just going to do whatever you can do in this space.
Yeah,
so it's kind of a mix of both, because we're creating routines, we're using the things that we have available to us. So for example, sometimes if I'm short on time or don't have access to an outdoor gym or a gym, I find a bike rack and I'm like, great, there's my workout.
How is that? That's so cost effective.
Exactly.
So UK Calisthenics then, how big is the organisation then? So how did it come about? Talk to me about that.
So essentially, I don't want this to sound, again, like I am very, very careful with how I speak about these things, because nobody owns calisthenics. Let's put that out there first and foremost. A lot of people want to. A lot of people see it as a commercial enterprise that, you know, if you dominate and you take over, brilliant, that's going to be tons of money, and we can do this and we can do that. Some people have a very rigid description of what calisthenics is. So for example, I would say personally that there are 5 specific disciplines within calisthenics as a sport, right? So hand balancing being a separate thing. So we'll put hand balancing outside of calisthenics, because that is its own sport discipline, right, in my mind at least. It's a very sort of particular niche, and a lot of people that class themselves as hand balancers only do hand balancing, and that's their thing. So within calisthenics, let's split it down into those 5 that I've outlined. So we have a world championship event in something called street lifting. So street lifting is essentially powerlifting combined with calisthenics. Okay. So street lifting has
walked into a whole new era of like
I'm about to blow your minds.
Fashion. That people are recoining stuff. This is
so street lifting. Yeah, street lifting. It's essentially powerlifting with calisthenics.
Yep.
So in the World Championships of street lifting, which is called Final Rep, it's a 1 rep max competition.
In the street.
No, not quite. So calisthenics is also known as street workout.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, so they've kind of gone street.
I've been in the industry a long time as well. This is all new. I love data
lifting. Yeah, I'm sure you will have lots of notes off the back of this. So street lifting. So not street workout, lifting, but combined with street workout. Let's say if we were to amalgamate the two. Yep. Might have got that completely wrong. Sorry if I did.
Ignore delete your comments if you tried to anyway.
So within street lifting, there's something within Final Rep. There is the all 4 format. Right. So all 4 consists of a weighted muscle up.
Yep.
Which can be bar or rings.
Right.
A weighted pull up or chin up, depending on which grip you want to use. A weighted dip. And a back squat. So the back squat is a part of this all 4 format.
Right, okay.
So that's one of the disciplines, one of the 5. So now we move from that World Championships, which is a 1 rep max one, to the WSWCF World Championships. And I will tell you what the acronym stands for. So it's World Street Workout and Calisthenics Federation, of which I am the UK member representative. Right. So I am their go-to guy.
The bloke that's making all this stuff up. Where is he? What's his name? Because these, for an organisation of not, and I don't want to derail what will come.
No, go on.
But like, because it happened in football, it's happened in rugby. Someone somewhere owned it. Mm-hmm. Or let's not say owned it, they created enjoyment out of it. Like the game of football, look at it. Jesus Christ, it's phenomenal. So let's talk about that. So the ambition... So through these acronyms and levels and refinement and appreciation and a pathway, I feel like you're teaching me right now, is, I think, a positive thing.
Yeah.
But you're very humble and very polite around it, because I guess, what's the world we live in it? I'm 40. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 32.
42, mate. I'm starting to get fucking... It's just like you can't say anything without worrying and caveating, which I think is great. But in this setting right now, when you're, second time we met, you're super easy to talk to. I think your intentions are very well placed. The sport in itself is low barrier to entry, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of cost, when let's not get into politics, that'll probably derail the whole podcast. So I think this is quite a nice space to be, and it's also super functional for me. So we are a supplement health and wellness brand. So I kind of champion what we are really trying to do is how can we get more people moving? How can we get more people educated?
Sure.
And it's not on these extreme ends either.
No.
So I think what you're doing, if I'm right, is whilst all these acronyms there, you're building quite a big community.
Yeah, definitely.
You're pulling it together.
That's the thing. I'm the link. I'm the synergy of those things, not necessarily the orchestrator of. So, am I right to go back to the? Okay. Just to give your listeners.
We're just freestyling back and forth.
Yeah, that's fine. So within the World Street Workout and Calisthenics Federation's rulebook, they have 3 main disciplines.
Right.
So that is power, which is weighted reps, but max reps weighted. So at the previous World Championships, it was for males, the pull-ups were 32 kg, the dips were 48 kg, and it was body weight muscle-ups, max reps for each of those. And that weight is added to your body.
Okay.
For females, it was 12 kg pull-up, 16 kg dip, and then body weight muscle-up. And it was max reps for those. So that's one of theirs. Another one is freestyle, which kind of leans more into the parkour side of things. So freestyle is the sort of dynamic tricks. So when you see people swinging on the bar, letting go, spinning around, doing 360s, 540s, Gengas, shrimp flips, all of the funky names.
What's that, a Genga?
A Genga, yeah, which is derived from gymnastics. So there's quite a lot of crossover in terms of the dynamic movements.
Yeah.
But they're a lot less restrictive.
Not lycra.
Yeah, unless you want to be in lycra. I mean, you can wear whatever you want, by all means. But yeah, so that's another one. So freestyle.
Yeah.
So freestyle calisthenics is probably the thing that people see online and they go, "Wow, that's amazing! Look at this."
Catches your eye, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the visually stunning aspect of the sport. I would say that's the catch.
Huge.
And then the strength endurance, which is a race between 2 athletes. So 2 athletes go head to head, and they have to complete a list of movements, and it's the person that finishes the list fastest that wins.
Okay.
So that's the 3 from them. So we've got 1 rep max, max reps weighted, freestyle, strength endurance, and then statics. So statics is my game.
Your flags and stuff.
Yes, exactly. So it's the isometric holds, and it's coming up with routines of isometric holds as well. So that would be the 5 horsemen of the apocalypse for calisthenics.
We haven't got a poll in here.
I mean, I can send you some clips if you want.
There you go, definitely. Well, this for me, mate, is where my passion for all this stuff comes from. It's just the incredible strength people create. I think there's one chat recently, he's doing like single arm handstands on dumbbells in gyms. It was quite cool. Someone with TikTok, and you're like, but you just, especially when you understand the physics, because it's physics at its finest as well as strength, isn't it? The balance piece and understanding how the body works. Some of these movements you think, it's absolute strength, but it's also, he gets himself in a position where his body weight's just going straight through his shoulder, and like he's counterbalancing with his legs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just look incredible.
Absolutely.
So how'd you get into it?
So I come from a martial arts background primarily. So I did Kung Fu, I did a month of Kung Fu and then a month of Thai boxing, month of Kung Fu in China, month of Thai boxing in Thailand. During my gap year between uni. It was incredible. It was with, just as a bit of a plug, it was with a company called Rising Dragon School. So if you're interested in getting involved in any fitness retreats, Rising Dragon School is a way to go. His name's Scott. He's a legend. He's from Birmingham, moved out to China, trained up, and now he's got several different offerings. One of them is in Lapland in Sweden, like top end of Sweden, and he does military boot camps up there in the winter. So yeah, it's pretty brutal. But that was incredible. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I hope he is. We're both of us are ex-vet.
Yeah.
I'm just sad if he isn't.
Right? I think he might be.
Yeah. How was the Muay Thai stuff though? I bought a place to go and do it out there. Really.
It was sweaty. It was sweatier than it is now. But no, it was incredible. Really, really incredible. It was nice to do both, because in China I went into more of like the internal arts, more of the Tai Chi, more of the energy work, more of the just grounding, meditation, all that sort of stuff like that. That was kind of my thing. Yeah, it was brilliant.
So where did you live and stuff? What was the?
So it was at a monastery.
No way.
Yeah. So we stayed at a monastery.
Huge desire to do something like that.
Oh, it's so sick.
Like switch off for 6 weeks.
Well, this is the thing. So my dad brought me up with Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan films. So when I decided to have this gap year and I was looking at things to do, I was like, "Whoa, you can actually go and do the thing.
Go and be him."
Exactly. And it was better than anything I could conceptualize. It was such an immersive experience. We were up at 5:30 in the morning, doing like bear crawls, hill sprints, like conditioning. Then we'd have like a sanda, which is like Chinese kickboxing session. And then in the afternoon, you would then choose whether you did like Tai Chi or Shaolin. So Shaolin's obviously the more explosive flips and like high kicks and that kind of stuff. Tai Chi is a bit more internal, a bit more downtime, and I just resonated a bit more with the Tai Chi at that point in time.
Okay. Could you flip and stuff?
I mean, if you wanted to train that, you could. There were the facilities
you do it at the time.
No, so like
that would be a big barrier. I probably would have stayed.
But you could learn pretty quickly within the sessions, and obviously with the guidance of an expert coach and that kind of stuff. It's definitely some of the transformations. Sorry,
how many people were with you?
I think there was about 12 to 15 at that point in time, but from everywhere. We'd have people from Germany and like mainly Europe, to be honest, that traveling over to go and do it.
Yep.
And yeah, it was fantastic. Such a good experience, and you're just like literally living the local life. Don't want to put
What sort of food are you eating?
Well, don't want to put anyone off. But basically, there was a bowl in the middle of the table, so everyone would go down for meals. And there was a bowl in the middle of the table. You'd have your bowl. There'd be like a rice bucket. You'd grab your rice, and then it was fastest chopsticks first to whatever the hell's in the middle of the thing. So we're like chowing down. And then the guy that was running it, Scott, turned to us and was like, "How'd you like the taste of dog, lads?"
I'm it's hungry.
Like, wow, it's already in me now. Like, bit rough, a bit chewy.
It's a culture, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that at that point in time, you're already committed. It's not as if you're going to throw it up. And yeah, to be honest, it just tasted like beef brisket. Would be the way. Yeah, it didn't kill me. I mean, killed the dog, unfortunately. But if you're going to eat a chicken or a cow,
I'm with you, mate.
How is it any different?
So here's one. Horse over here is weird to eat. In France, it's a delicacy, or it's a expensive meat, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. So what was the rice like? Proper sticky rice.
You
decent with the old chopsticks?
Oh yeah, definitely. You had to get decent, otherwise you wouldn't eat. That's the thing. Everyone's like in. Yeah, it was like Kung Fu Panda meals. It's brilliant. So it was amazing, and literally you were just living pretty much the local life there, and you'd see.
What were the biggest things you took away from it?
I think it was confidence for me. I definitely suffered with social anxiety and depression, and like I've got history of trauma, and it just kind of helped because it was my first sort of large scale solo journey. And just to be plonked in with people I don't know and forced to make friendships and network and socialize.
Did you see you found yourself a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. There's aspects of me now that I carry thanks to that experience. I'm definitely a lot more grounded and present, and not sort of the chatter isn't there anymore, which is fantastic. So yeah, I definitely recommend traveling of any capacity.
What bits of that were for it? Because obviously for me, I joined the army at 16. A lot of it was with just the physical, we just got thrashed for 2-3 years. Like it was just so physical, which I'd imagine you talk about the same things we had. One of our carders we did, our last wheel intake, I think, to do the traditional cardio, to do 6 weeks of hell, basically, just 170 of us start. I think 20 finish or something stupid.
Right, okay.
Where it's about minimal meal times. Up at 5:30, we were in Northern Ireland, stood in little shorts at fucking February at 5:30 in the morning, it's freezing.
Yeah.
Do 6 to 8 miles in the morning, come back, just get beasted all the time, put you in a class, just have dinner was like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, just fall out, go in, same thing, just race and fill your food pocket, or your pockets with food, and then normally stick you in a classroom, crack the heating up, wait for someone to fall asleep, and then blame like someone's problem, and straight back in the afternoon. But I think through that, you just, I don't know, you bond with people very well, or extremely quickly, I think.
Yeah.
But then the physical, I think taking your body to a place you didn't think it's capable is something quite grounding in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because if you were to look at it in terms of the conditions, it was altitude training. The whole thing was in the mountains. It's altitude training.
What height
are you at? I can't tell you at the minute, but if you have a look online, it's the same retreat that they do there. It's in the Yunnan province.
Right. Did it affect you?
Initially, yeah, it took some adjusting to do. Like I tried to do a little bit of like prep with a bit of cardio, a little bit of running before I went. But yeah, but the thing is, like, because you're doing it every day, you get so conditioned, so conditioned. We were doing things like hill sprints, and like we'd run probably 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And you just like like, I'm lucky if I do that 3 times a week now.
Oh, no, thought about it more than like, oh no.
But in terms of like like you say, the objective things to come away with, I think it's just a different culture, a different, like, I think the ceremony of it all, as well, like, that really resonates with me. I went to Japan with school. I was a very lucky person. I went to Japan with school as an exchange, because where I lived falls into.
Do you know what I mean? But so you got to retreat.
Where I live falls into so Derby's twinned with Toyota City in Japan, right? And that's why Toyota is based in Derby. So it was part of that exchange. So going over there and seeing the culture and seeing obviously the temples, the buildings, like we did like a tea ceremony and that kind of thing. Like it just got me. It just absolutely gets me.
Give something cool.
It's just like there's so much respect for everything, you know. Whereas over here, not so much.
Western culture,
not so much. So I think that was a big thing, to be immersed in that. But then the difficulty that you have, and like it's a reason that meditation is called a practice, is because as soon as you're taken out of the context where you find that peace, you've then got to do the real work, right? So I get home after this amazing experience and I put myself in the deck in and I'm like, right, I'm going to do my Tai Chi. So I stand there and all you can hear in the background is like sirens and drilling, and you're like, oh, come on, right, get back into China mode. Let's go. And you just can't. It's so difficult.
Well, great point. So I'm not to do that because I talk about some of this stuff. So people who've watched the podcast, I do try and do my fair bit for the biggest health risk we have in the UK right now is diabetes. So we've created an emergency solution. It's both a training element, awareness tool, and an emergency response kit for a hypoglycemic incident.
Brilliant.
I've also been a PT for many years. I was mentioned 42 this year. Always been in shape. Always tried to keep fit. Definitely burn the candle at both ends. But I hadn't, probably until my last few years, really understood the role stress plays on us. And I think it's not often we get to take it out of a context where you can partner up with listening to an experience like yours, where those subconscious cues that all of us just fucking ignore, look how it completely stopped you enjoying, or it was hard to get back to do something that's so grounded.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not often and I only realise those things when I go skiing. So I ski and snowboard quite a bit, snowboard for the army.
Okay.
You sit on a ski lift,
you
can't hear fuck all. Just like the little bang of the cable, that's it. No car noise, just a bit of wind. Yet when you're here, you are constantly able to hear something else going. And I think that constant noise cannot be good for our I don't know, mental health. I think on a big scale.
But then simultaneously, like if we're going completely off script, but it's fine. Simultaneously, we are our own worst enemies because we actively pursue that noise a lot of the time through looking at our phones, through busying ourselves, like sitting with our own thoughts. We just don't do that anymore. And that then becomes the task rather than do you know what I mean? Like,
so is this why you ended up, where did your love for calisthenics or this interest come for, to put you in such a influential position which you're in, or for you to want to put yourself in? You didn't go off topic.
No, it came back round. So I would say, so I have a lot, like I said earlier, I've got a lot of sort of trauma, mainly from my childhood, mainly around grief, loss, addiction, separation. If you were to try and pass all of those things into buckets, that's where they would go. So I kind of hit a crisis point in 2018 myself, and was as close as you can get to not being here anymore, let's say. Very conscious that I don't want to trigger anybody, but let's put it at those terms. And it was probably 2 weeks into my calisthenics journey that happened. And I'd always been resilient. I would probably describe myself as resilient up to that point, but I think the conditions that I was under and the situations that were revolving around me at that time, everything just compounded, and then I just got tunnel vision, and that was the answer, essentially. Fortunately, I didn't, and my friends at the time found me, and they made sure that I went to the doctors and then went through a bout of counselling. And my recovery process essentially was counselling, but then I guess it was calisthenics. It was around the time that I found the Muscle Up tutorial. So if we consider the fact that I could do 15 clean pull-ups,
yep,
and I just, for whatever reason, could not get myself over that bar. I was like, I'm super strong at pull-ups. I can pull really high. Like, what's going on? Why can't I get myself over? And then I went onto YouTube and found a channel called Calisthenics, which is owned by a guy called Chris Herrier.
Right.
And Chris Herrier this year at the World Championships was inducted into the Calisthenics Hall of Fame by the WSWCF. So he's a pretty influential guy. Yep. He was one of the first sort of professionally produced YouTube tutorial generators for calisthenics. Went on this tutorial, learned the Muscle Up within about a week or two, because all that I had to do is change my technique and apply all the strength that I previously got. So I think I just about managed to start getting my muscle ups. Crisis point happened. Started my counselling, and I was like, "What can I do?" And it basically, the tagline that I tend to use for this is "one more rep became one more day." And it was sort of that pursuit of unlocking these skills and building my strength to be able to not only just do one of them, but multiple reps, and try and hold my body in some of these positions that I see people that I admire do. And it was the pursuit of that and starting to understand my body, because the only thing that we truly have agency and autonomy of is our physical presence and our being, right?
Yep. We
can't control other people. We can't control what they think of us, let alone what we can think half the time of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But movement is something that we have 100%, unless you've got a neurodegenerative disease or something like that, 100% control over our body and our relationship to our body. So building that positive relationship to myself in a space where I really didn't feel positive about myself in general helped me get through that, and it helped me process some of the feelings that I was feeling, and build back up to a person that I'm quite proud of now. Unashamedly. So that's where it came in. It came from a necessity. It was I needed something, and I needed something that would keep me coming back for more and keep me getting up in the morning, keep me waking up, basically. And calisthenics provided that, because it is. I'm 7 years in, and I'm still that same guy. Still
super pumped about it. So how big is what's the size of the sector or the group of people? What does it look like?
So there are different. So within the UK, are you discussing?
Yeah. Let's start with the UK.
Okay. So within the UK,
just pick one.
Yeah.
Start somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. So within the UK, there are. I would describe it as factions. Let's say.
Okay.
And there are different factions based in different areas, different communities, different sub-communities of those communities. The main key players, I would say, are ourselves. Not in a hierarchy, just we're one of the main key players. The UCA, which is the University Calisthenics Association. So essentially, when you go to university, you can subscribe to a society.
Yes.
And quite a lot of the universities now, they have a calisthenics society, which is fantastic. So the UCA is basically the formal organization representative of all of these societies, and they bring themselves together once or twice a year, one for like a bar jam and then one for like a competition, but they all sort of promote each other and stay sort of in contact, which is fantastic. And then the other key player, if we were to discuss sort of organizationally, would be Steel Warriors. Have you heard of Steel Warriors before? I haven't. Okay, so Steel Warriors, and hopefully this will blow some people's minds because it's fantastic. Steel Warriors is a charity based in London. What they do is they confiscate knives from knife crime,
right?
Melt them down, turn them into bar parks.
Nice.
How cool is that?
How long has this been happening?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but quite a few years. I believe 2016 to 2018, around then. Yeah. So quite a few years now. But it's quite new still.
Yep.
And they've now installed 4 parks across London. Cool. And they're looking to sort of expand out and obviously work in different councils and things like that. So there is a tender process that has to happen for these things, but it's a registered charity. Idris Elba supports them, which is fantastic.
Great DJ as well. Really good. Bad hay for today, mate.
So good.
So Steel Warriors and stuff then. So I guess to come to the calisthenics piece, if someone was looking at this now thinking, right, where would you point them to look at? What would you, where other than you because you've clearly had some people when you started, you found as a source of inspiration or education. Mm-hmm. What would you say? Where would you point people to?
So there's a few things that I would tell a beginner, like looking at starting calisthenics. The first one is find a community,
right? Because
that is the most powerful way that you are going to enjoy this sport. We had a little conversation earlier around sort of the barriers to entry and the sort of accessibility, let's say, of calisthenics. And one of the things with calisthenics that people learn very, very early on, no matter how strong or fit you are, is that it's a very humbling sport. And if you can't do it, you're going to land on your face, basically. And that's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of this discipline. However, when you're starting, you're going to see all of these magnificent, incredible people online that are doing amazing things. It's kind of it's a great thing and a negative that a lot of people will only post their best sets of things, whether that be sets of reps of pull-ups or skills or freestyle. Like, they'll tend to showcase their best because unfortunately we live in a Western world. Everything is about personal brand and nobody wants to showcase bad things about their personal brand, right? So therefore there are some people that do, but you don't often see the fails. You don't often see the form's a bit dodgy there, or and there's not many people openly admitting that that's the case, because obviously they want to get further ahead. If they've got a business attached to their personal profile, that type of thing, unfortunate truth of the current state of things. So you are going to see these incredible things, and you might even see them in person as well. There might be some people there that can absolutely smash it, and you'll be like, whoa, that's amazing. She's so cool, or he's so cool. But not to get caught up in that. That is a result of a lot of previous training,
which is achievable.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone started from somewhere. So I would say join a community, because then you're surrounded by people that will support you, no matter whether it's your first push up or your first front lever hold. Doesn't matter.
I saw some of this. So we recently launched Endure Plus at FitX, and there was a setup there, like a street setup. I hope I said the right thing there. It was like a selection of bars and stuff, and it was super inclusive.
Yes.
Some of the military strongman guys that were over in the
Forces Strong,
they were all on there. There was just little kids were having a little mess about. It was kind of really inclusive.
Yep, that's some of our
casual
guys. Yeah. So that's some of our guys. Well, some of. So usually at the fitness expo, so the Arnold's and the Fit Expo, we'd have a setup, and more often than not, there's a competition that we run, and then alongside that there is workshops and then showcases. So you might have seen some performances from some people, and then an open gym time, like you described, people going in, learning new skills, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of one of our commercial routes into the fitness industry, let's say, because of the exposure that you get from those types of events. It works really well in terms of, like you say, just bringing people in that are already potentially exercising, but they want to try something else. So that's fantastic. So finding a community. So that's a good example of that. The community that ran the most recent one was Manchester Calisthenics, with a guy called Gary and business partners Phil and Cornell. So essentially, within the UKCO, so within my organisation, we have communities nationwide. So we've got Calisthenics Basingstoke, we've got Vigilantes, which are based in Exeter, Sequoia Movement, which is based in Cornwall, Manchester Calisthenics, Manchester, Bromesthenics, which is in Birmingham. So we're literally everywhere, and we would be able to signpost anyone. So if you were sort of looking, then drop a message to our page. We can ping you across the relevant details to the community. And more often than not, a community is attached to a gym. So there would be like meetups that are generally free a lot of the time, in sort of outdoor parks or at gyms and facilities. And then there is the obvious service of coaching and tuition and that kind of stuff attached to those as well. So join a community, find a coach. Don't skip the basics. Always. And like, even for myself, I have to remind myself of these things. Because you kind of get so caught up on the skills, or you get really close to something, or you just unlock something, and then all of a sudden your brain goes, we need to do more of that because we're going to lose it if we don't. It's going to disappear. Whereas actually it's all the foundational conditioning and strength work that you've done that's got you to that point. So don't ever neglect that. Pick one or two things when you're starting out, one or two things to focus on.
Doing it too broad.
You don't want to be a kid in a sweet shop with this stuff. So it would depend. It would depend on where your interests lie. If you've already got like a bit of a trajectory to those 5 disciplines that I've already named, if you're like 1 rep max is my thing, I want to build towards that. Foundational basics, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, squats, lunges, all the rest of it. Get that in. If it's more of the skills-based static stuff, then maybe starting to train handstand. Like you can start to train handstand as a beginner. There's no issue with that. Obviously there's wrist conditioning and things like that. So again, this is a gradual process. Things like L-sits, so core compression, hanging knee raises, hanging L-sits, P-bar L-sits, those types of things. Build up your shoulder mobility, so skin the cat, those types of movements. So I don't know if you know what a skin the cat is. Okay, I don't know how it got its name, but essentially you go from a dead hang position, and then you probably did this as a kid whilst you were, so you go up and through. So you go through your arms with your legs, and then keep going.
You hang down.
Yeah, so your arms are behind you.
Yeah, man, I could do that.
Yeah,
totally.
It's
a real fun thing to do at the park.
Oh, precisely. And it's a strength and conditioning move.
Back up and through.
And then you push back up. Yeah, exactly.
What's it called?
Skin the cat.
Right, if anyone knows the person that named that bad boy.
Oh, yeah. So skin the cats, those types of things. And again, like you'll find that there's a commonality with this prescription is that mobility is the thing. Especially if you're starting later on in life and you haven't done gymnastics as a kid, which is a lot of people. Mobility is always going to be a restricting factor. And you'll see that if you ever try and do a pistol squat. So the pistol squat, key things in the pistol is hip flexor, strength, hamstring mobility, and dorsiflexion of the ankle. They're the key things that really mess people up because you can't get the depth. So building those things up as you train the strength component of a single leg step up, for example, you can kind of work around. And it's again, that's where the coaching comes in, because if you've got a coach, then they can help break these things down to you rather than you just trying and failing all the time. Actually, like there is a process where you can focus on the strength, you can build your mobility, and then add your accessories in as you go. So I would say don't neglect the basics. Try and find some form of guidance. It doesn't necessarily have to be a paid coaching service. It might be really good tutorials, which is the way that I've learned. And make sure that the person, sort of, especially as a beginner. If you're a beginner, then make sure the person that you're getting the advice from can do the thing you want to do.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of that. I don't believe.
Yeah, if you're more advanced, then fair enough, because there are gymnast coaches that were ex-gymnasts that probably can't do an iron cross anymore, but they could do it once, and they understand all of the processes to get there. Yeah, exactly. So there is a difference.
Can you do it, or have you had the t-shirt?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of people that can't do the things very well that claim to coach, and that's kind of where the organization comes in as well.
Fine.
So that's where we sort of say so find a community, find a coach, start with the basics, pick one or two things to begin with that you want to work towards, and work backwards from there. Don't only just jump to point Z when you've got 24 letters to get through before you get there. Because that's how you mess yourself up, because your body isn't conditioned for it.
Yeah, and it's one of those sort of race motocross for years. We'd always prefer to break a bone and tear some tissue, ligaments and stuff. And I suppose this stuff, if you start trying to push hard, you'll be out for months. Well, and there's just
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're a late starter.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like everyone, like later on in their journey is going to be carrying something. There's always some tendonitis, or there's always some tightness or slight imbalance. And it's just the nature of the sport, because you're not necessarily pushing a barbell where both sides are going to go up at the same time. It's your body weight. So a lot of the time we're going through large ranges of motion in these movements, which is, again, a benefit of this movement style.
Yep.
But then also there is that unilateral imbalance component, because everything has to be stabilized.
Yeah.
And that's a thing. So again, do your basics. And
how often are you training the weekend?
Me personally, at the moment, it's very haphazard, just because of the amount that I'm currently doing admin and everything else. But generally, I would train 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Any more than that, my body doesn't like me. Some people can get away with every day, twice a day. It depends on how you class training, because some people would go absolutely ham, high intensity, do the hardest things you can every day, and then they'll blow up.
The active recovery is probably one of these good things.
Yeah, precisely. And that's the thing. Like, and it depends as well in terms of what the outcome is, what goal you're after. If it's endurance, then fair enough. Like, you doing more frequent training sessions is probably a good idea. If it's power, you're definitely going to need the rest. And that's the thing, because obviously when you start sort of modulating the discipline into different sub sort of categories, then you've got your hypertrophy and muscular endurance, and then you've got your power output, and your power output is going to be a lot more joint and CNS orientated, and your muscular hypertrophy is obviously going to be more muscular. So that's personally, I tend to try and program power at the start of the week, endurance at the end. So I'm getting the benefits of both.
Nice.
But I'm recovering from one whilst I do the other as well. And that works really well for me. It works really well for my clients. And I've got a world champion athlete as a result of the coaching and the programming, which is great. She signed up with me March, I want to say, last year. She had a national championships, I think 6 weeks or 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks after she signed up, managed to win that. And then we had almost a year with different comps in between that she was doing really well at, and then world championships, and she managed to come away with the gold, which is fantastic. So that's amazing. But again, a lot of that was foundational, just getting the foundations right and programming specific to that adaptation that you want as well. Just trusting somebody that does something really cool but doesn't quite train your discipline. Probably not the best route to go down. Like, you want to work with somebody that aligns with your desired goals, essentially.
Not what you want to think, or think what you want to hear, or
exactly.
necessarily always how you feel, right?
Yeah,
so
precisely.
What does the organisation do specifically?
Yeah, good question.
There's the killer one.
Good question. So I am the events lead, so I do events. So last year, for the first time ever in the UK, we sort of mimicked. So as I said earlier, with the 1 rep max competition, in the UK there is a organisation that runs that called Body Strong.
Right.
And the way that they ran their events was regionally to nationals to the World Championships. I really enjoyed the concept of that, because a lot of the time with calisthenics, you're dealing with a cohort of people that don't have a lot of money. It's one of the attractors to the sport. Therefore, expecting them to travel halfway across the country for a national championships straight away off the bat of nothing doesn't quite make sense in my mind. So I basically took the template of Body Strong and then applied it to the WSWCF categories of freestyle, power, strength, endurance, and then I partnered with Barbenders, who are a Belgian outfit, for the statics category. So we then had 2 world stage events to then prepare athletes for, and then scaled it backwards. So I ran 5 regional championships last year: Devon, London Brunel University, Warrington, Perth in Scotland, and then Leicester in the Midlands. We saw around 30 athletes at each of those. So you're talking 150 athletes, let's say, roughly around that number. And then from there, the top 3 athletes in their category. So we've got further breakdowns of that. So if an athlete wants to apply, they can they can't either. They kind of have to apply for the thing that they fit into. So there's weight categories. within the power and the strength and freestyle disciplines.
Right.
So the WSWCF have weight categories, and then there's a veterans category. So for power and strength endurance, it's 35 and over, just like CrossFit.
Yeah.
And then for freestyle, it's 30 because of obviously the dynamic moves, the amount of stress it puts on the joints, that kind of stuff, that consideration. And then statics was intermediate and advanced male, and then a straight female category. So we've got top 3 athletes from all of these different weight categories within the disciplines that can then go to the nationals.
Yeah.
We held the nationals in September, and we had 75 athletes come through that, which was amazing. And then out of those 75, this April, we took 15 of those to Bulgaria, which was the World Championships.
Nice.
We came away with 6 medals.
Jesus.
And 1 world champion.
Nice.
Which was amazing. And that's the first time it's ever been ran in that format, and it's the first time we've ever gone with more than 4 people to the World Championships.
So cool.
So that was like the beta test. Can this work? Can it be deployed? Does the format work? And obviously there's a teething process with that. As an organizer, you kind of have to be considerate of timings, so scheduling, because a lot of these regionals are in one day.
Right.
So we've got 4 disciplines to run in one day with all these different weight categories. It's pretty intense. And obviously the disciplines are different, so the judging standards and movement patterns and stuff are different as well. So
Did you find it easy to find judges?
That's the thing. So that was probably our Achilles heel, let's say.
I think everyone's is. Even High Rocks had a big kick-off recently in Cardiff.
Yeah.
I think you started seeing some kickback. I think that's...
Well, this is the thing. So we managed to get it done. It was after the first regional, it was like, well, judging is like a big issue. Let's sort this for the next one.
Yep.
Second one, it went better, and we sort of utilized me. So I was sort of running the mic, letting people know when they're on, that kind of stuff on the day. But then I was acting as a sort of judge supervisor. So, like I say, one of the disciplines in strength endurance is a race.
Yeah.
So, which means we've got 2 judges per athlete, and there's 2 athletes. So we've got 4 judges. So obviously there's quite a lot of room for inconsistency there. So my role was to make sure that if the athlete needs tapping for their reps, that the tap pace is the same on this side as this side.
Okay.
If the athlete's going to get no rep for poor form, then the criteria for that is the same on this side as this side, which is a very difficult job. You need about 8 pairs of eyes to be able to do that, because the athletes are moving fast as well, which is a big thing in that particular discipline. So that is something that we've tried to nail down. You've stumbled across our first controversial subject.
Go on.
Okay, so the World Championships in Bulgaria this year.
Yep.
Sent 15 athletes over. One of them's a world champion. However, the world champion athlete, who's a phenomenal human being, she's 51, she's from Essex. And she's...
I saw this. Did you post it?
We did, yeah.
I saw the post.
Ah, fantastic.
Yes.
So the reason that last weekend had to happen was because at the event
she doesn't look 51 at all.
No, she doesn't, and she doesn't move
like dog tape. I was like, nah, I'm 42. I sent it to you.
This is the thing, like this sport keeps you young. So what happened was she performed, and then she qualified. Well, all the athletes qualified for a final. She did the final, and it was very clear to me that she had beaten the second fastest athlete, right? So all day I was sat next to her, I was like, world champion, like bigging her up. Gets to the awards ceremony, they announced the wrong athlete. So
just like spelling mistake, or
a completely wrong name, completely wrong, like
someone's wrote the wrong list. Someone's got the wrong list upside down.
Potentially. Close to second. There was 13 seconds in it. It wasn't like done. There were 13 seconds. So it was a massive cataclysmic fuck up.
Wait,
there we go. There's my first swear.
Between who? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
What, first and second.
Yeah, 13 seconds in a battle of pull-ups, let's say.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is actually quite a lot of time. It's not an F1 race. It's not blink and you miss it. It's quite a lot of time. So it was a catastrophic fuck up. I'll say it again. There you go. There's my second square. On behalf of the organisation. So that night, obviously she's devastated. I'm like, I'm kind of managing the team. I need to sort this out, but I need to double check that I am correct first, because you don't get to see the times. They just go, right, here's the third person, second person, first person. So that night, there's like an after party in a nightclub. I go to that, finish at 3 a.m., get back to my hotel room, and I'm like, I've got to do something about this. So at 3 a.m., YouTube, watching the live stream back, time stamping the times of the athletes. Then I message the head organizer and I say, right, who do I contact to dispute this? Because it is wrong. And you've given the wrong person the world champion title and the medal and the trophy and the prize of free education through their academy. So there's quite a lot that this other athlete has been given that unfortunately my athlete has not, and missed out on. Obviously standing there on the podium in and amongst all of the best athletes in the world, and had that opportunity taken away from her. So there's then a back and forth email process. They then have a whole review, because it wasn't just my athlete that suffered as a result of this. All of the judging for the power and strength disciplines was inconsistent. There were certain people that were getting no rep for different criteria, that kind of stuff. So they had a whole inquiry. So this lasted like 2-3 days of just radio silence. We're sorting it out. Don't worry. And then eventually they published the final results, which Claire, my athlete, had won clearly by 13 seconds. But that was kind of it at the time. There wasn't like a public, Claire has won. It was like, here are the results. There you go. And it was very quiet. And obviously, from Claire's perspective, that definitely wasn't enough to sort of confirm her place. After all these posts had gone up, after the Brazilian athlete that should have been second has gone home, taken a trophy, had a whole celebration thing, gone on TV, gone on radio, and full well in a delusion of being crowned a world champion, right? So there's been this whole process to which the head judge at the time...
Who would have thought calisthenics was going to turn out to be this, like...
Oh, well, trust me, it's a thing. So the head judge has had their title revoked, right? So that they've basically been...
It's fair.
...told that they didn't do a good job.
Eye test or... like free eye tests and stuff like that.
So I think there were certain constraints around the event, and it's down to the organisation of the event, not just the judging, in terms of some of the discrepancies that happened. I can't get too much into it because we actually want to be a part of the positive change. So that then provides an opportunity. So one of the directors of the organisation, Wodge, who's based in Basingstoke, runs Calisthenics Basingstoke, is our judging and standardisation lead. So I'm the events lead, he's the judging and standardisation lead. So one of the things that he's really keen on is judging parity, like fairness across the board, making sure that everyone's on the same page, making sure that all athletes are judged the same and there's equity. And he's judged our nationals, he's judged our regionals, he's also judged the Body Strong nationals for their world championships. So he is very knowledgeable. He's been in the industry for over 10 years and doing a very good job. And that's his prime focus. He's not just an athlete that wants to play about here and do this and do that. Like his mission is this particular role. So he's applied. Because there was a massive social media fallout. There were certain athletes that were being very obtusely vocal, let's say, towards the organisation and towards the WSWCF and the event itself. And I think there's only so much of that should be done. Obviously, voice your concerns, voice your frustrations, but then if you're not contributing actively to a solution, then you're just creating more problems. So our response is... thank you to the judges that took part, because in all fairness, they were there from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. on the Saturday, judging all day. At some point in there's going to be fatigue. There's going to be...
How many people are there?
It was a massive competition. And this is another thing, like a lot of it was, from the organisation's perspective, it was, we've brought over 300 athletes to this World Championships. However, they hadn't checked that they had the infrastructure to handle 300 athletes at the World Championships. So that's something that they're currently working on, and if they want my help, they're more than welcome to ask for it.
Like you say, this is a fairly new...
It's a new thing.
Niche sector.
To a point. the event itself, I think that was the 14th year.
Has it ever been as big as it was though?
No, it's the biggest it has been, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic.
So that jump in applicant in
yeah, I think it's almost doubled, if not doubled.
Mate, and I think that's been. We were looking at some numbers the other day. I mean, there's London Marathon's in nearly 40% in jump in requests to do it in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I think British is it GB Triathlon Association or something's up 30%. It's
right.
like, and I think I mean, for me I think health and wellness. You've talked about. And thank you again for being so honest as well on camera, because I think it's part of this. I'm super honest. Is an anchor for where positive or stable mental health has to start. It's
absolutely.
Good nutrition, good physical health.
Yeah,
you don't get hangry for no reason. This gut health, mental health link is clearly evident. So, and I think post COVID, this real shift for everyone becoming a lot focused or prioritizing it is definitely a big thing. So. But yeah, it's interesting across the board. It's such a big jump like that between, and I think you're right in the middle of these. I'd called it functional fitness, but hybrid athletes are. Yeah, where it's away from just CrossFit owned that space quite a bit. All these variations for me are just, I don't know. I find it very inspiring, if that's the right word. Fucking hell, you're getting over 40 when you start talking. But as a brand, health and wellness brand, I think this is it's quite good. So whilst we're having a little joke on there, as you guys, there was clearly a reason why you do stuff. If you're trying to cater for that many more people, a lot of these people are probably volunteers. Yeah, no, definitely. I think, and that's the thing. Like I say, I think it's infrastructure. But they should have an eye test, right?
Yeah, definitely. Spectators, new advert. No rep. No, it was. Trust me. Yeah. So, infrastructurally, it wasn't adequate enough for the amount of athletes that they had. So let's fast forward to the post that you saw. So basically, from the end of April, the very end of April, to literally last week, we've been waiting for this trophy to arrive. And we've been waiting for a formal announcement of the actual result and the fact that Claire has won and that she is a world champion, and to give her that space and time. So it's finally happened, and we held a little nice event at one of the Steel Warriors parks, actually, which was cool. And yeah, we just had a little bar jam, did a couple of pictures and stuff, and just gave her a moment, because I think that's super vital. Like, to be crowned a world champion is a dream for a lot of people, and Claire has been through, I'm not going to disclose anything that I shouldn't, but she's been through her own turmoil, her own hell. She's overcome a lot of obstacles just in life, and calisthenics for her has been a transformative tool, and she's been able to share that. And that's the thing. It's like you get this thing, and it gives you life, it gives you purpose, it gives you meaning, and then you just want to share that. You just want to give it to other people, and you want them to have these principles, these tools, these sort of methodologies to be able to, tap into something that is progressive, that does force you to push outside of your comfort zone, that to like believe in yourself a little bit more. And that's the big thing. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, you're on your face. So you've got to tap into that.
So it sounds very community driven as well.
Yeah, it is massively
doing these things. I think that you can't. You go for a run, you're running solidly for 40-50 minutes, aren't you? With this stuff, I guess you try a handstand, you try a pull up, you do a set, you got to wait a few minutes, right? So there's a lot more time or opportunity for you guys to bond, I guess. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the role of group class environments and community meetups. I think that's crucial, because you get the coach, and the coach hopefully should be a very proficient individual that can demonstrate things very clean and strong and correct form and all of those sorts of things. But there's always going to be a bit of a disconnect there, especially if you're a beginner coming into the sport, of like, oh, well, I'm not there yet. Why does my hip do this and yours does that? And why are my shoulders riding up to my ears and yours don't? And I think having more people that aren't on that pedestal of elite athlete or coach to surround yourself with, that are going through the same journey, that have perhaps, listened to the cue that the coach has given, but actually they've thought of one that works better for them. And then that's where the conversation happens. Oh, have you tried this? Or, oh, well, I've seen that you can do this and you can do that. How about you try putting them together? Can you go from one to the other? And it's that sort of playtime. It's adult
playtime.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, because we lose that. We get ourselves into these corporate 9-to-5 jobs, or like however you work, but you get yourself into a job where you're 9 times out of 10 earning money for another person, and you're focused on a task, hopefully, that is meaningful to you, but more often than not it's not. And you just get that drilled out of you. You get that sense of awe, wonder, exploration drilled out of you. And then if you can find something that puts you in a position of agency and autonomy of your body and creates a community that people push you to try new things and explore and try balancing, and like I said, it's mindful movement is the way that I would describe it. Mindful movement. It's a practice of presence, because without presence you're on your face. So you have to be connected, and it's that mind muscle connection that promotes total body tension, which is another core principle. And the way that I describe this to people through the course that we do, which I'll get to in a moment, is be the stick, not the rope. So when you pick up a rope, you pick it up and the end's still going. You've got all that wasted energy just leaking out. You pick up a stick, everything moves together. So that's where that total body tension, core activation comes in, because you don't want to be doing pull-ups and wasting energy because your feet are flapping out underneath you, right? So that's the thing, and that's where that sort of like strict form aspect of calisthenics comes in, because it's beauty and strength. It's not kipping and reps. No slander to any other sport that exists out there at all, but it just doesn't fall into the category of what we do. So that's a crucial part, is that sort of community element. And I took myself, I lived in the Midlands for quite a long period of time, and then took myself away to Devon, tried to build a life out there, and then when I got there wasn't a calisthenics community at all. So I ended up sort of starting a business teaching calisthenics, and then an off branch of that was the community meetups, and we managed to scale that. It was brilliant. We had like 30 odd people coming, and we networked with acro yoga and breakdancing and circus, and we just pulled everyone together, and everyone's sort of coming at it from a different perspective, which is brilliant. Like I encourage that, absolutely. If you think of going into a planche from an elbow lever, then popping it out in a breakdancey way, like fantastic, do it. That's your style. There is no code of points. There is no, you can't do this move. It's free. It's and it's expression. So absolutely do that. And it got to the point where, because of some of this stuff now was taking over, I would then handed the community over to somebody else and let them run it.
Nice.
And it's that sort of like legacy piece, I guess, for me, is like bringing people together, showcasing, getting them to believe in themselves, getting them to, build social networks and friendships that exceed just the realms of this 2-hour meetup. Like you can go for a coffee together. Absolutely. Go for it. Yeah. Wicked. Relationships have formed off the back of it. Brilliant. Go. And that's the thing. And I think that it's like everything nowadays is so compartmentalized and put into sections of life. Like, this is my training time. I go to the gym here and I do this for 2 hours. Then I go to work, and then I do this, and then I do that, and then I do that. Whereas actually, like, if you build a community that the session starts at 12, but it finishes whenever the bloody hell you want to, whenever you can't lift your arms anymore, more often than not. And then it's
5
like
10 minutes.
And then it's like, oh, I've really enjoyed hanging out with you. Do you want to go and get a coffee after this? Brilliant. Your organic in-person relationships are forming.
And then the part of exercise becomes ingrained in the daily habit, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to slot it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned qualifications.
Yes. So we have so the events is one thing. So we're doing all the events. So just to sort of circle back to that, doing all the events again this year, starting at the start of August and ending at the end of September, from Devon all the way through back again to Leicester. Nice. There qualifies for the Nationals yet to be confirmed. So we're doing all of that. The main sort of busyness at the moment before all of that begins is the Calisthenics Coaching Level 1 course. So we run a 6-hour CPD for level 2 gym instructors, level 3 PTs, to bolt onto the end of their course to then be able to safely and effectively deliver a calisthenics group class.
Nice.
There you go. There's the tagline. Done.
Nice.
Sold. And essentially what we do is, I've personally built it. So it's And the way that it's been constructed is to basically take you from the start of a class all the way through to the cool down at the end, and give you all of the things to be considerate of, all of the drills and exercises that you might use as you go through that process. And then at the end, we go through a session structure and planning, because people generally know what a push-up is. They don't necessarily know how to correctly teach a push-up or what the most optimal form would be for a push-up. Because this is the thing, like a lot of the time, people will perform movements and all that they need to do is make 3 form tweaks, and that movement is going to be so much more beneficial. They don't have to do anything extra. They're just doing the same amount of volume, the same work that they're already doing, but just a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and it just changes everything. And a lot of the time it is sort of either scapular related, so shoulder blades and how they're used, and then core engagement is the other thing.
Massive.
Yeah, so both of those things kind of form the bread and butter of calisthenics training and what make it so progressive.
Go ride a motorbike for years and then you'll be able to be really good at calisthenics.
Yeah.
I did motocross for years, mate. It was the same, like back strength, core, incredible.
Yeah.
And you look at the physics of the approach of what you do when you're on a motocross bike on your toes. It's basically like
and your grip as well.
Squat. A grip is fucking. Well, it's not any good anymore. Actually, it's fucking really pissing me off because it's shite. Like when I first started, we did. So a friend of mine started Strom in a corner. So his best friend was Welsh strongest man. Went on to Giants Live.
Oh wow!
So they used to carry a lot of heavy shit around the warehouse. So I just rocked up one day, 125 key in each hand. Farmer's walk. My grip had it. I collapsed at the end and just dislocated my shoulder.
Oh.
I woke up. I was like, and like what? Cause I was ex-army. Didn't really give up. But grip was really, really capable of. It's not now. I couldn't do it. But I literally popped my shoulder out.
Yeah.
And you just start to think, there's things that you build that then led on to probably why I was quite good at sport. So I think getting into calisthenics, the whole parkour where my interest was, I think this is great for people looking to get into the gym. Because I think if you could do any of this stuff in an active sense, probably out and about, by the time you do get into the gym, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the beauty of it. It's like another tagline for the sport is anytime, anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's like there's quite a lot of memes around calisthenics from calisthenics people saying that it's the sport of minimal equipment, but then actually you look at the stuff that when you start to get serious about it, there's a few bits of kit that are probably non-negotiable. So things like resistance bands and gymnastics rings and dip bars and parallettes and things like that that it's not quite a 500 quid treadmill by any stretch of the imagination. It's still really cost effective. But there are some things that would obviously make your journey a little bit easier as well to sort of factor in. But yeah, like you say, a lot of the time in calisthenics, grip is the first thing to go.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the larger muscle groups and those types of activations.
We did the whole Ninja Warrior thing.
Okay.
Mrs., good friend of mine, Mrs. couldn't hold onto the bar.
Right.
But she looks like a little CrossFit fit athlete.
And it's a key indicator of longevity as well.
100%, that
grip
quad strength.
Yeah.
Was it is an increase in 40% increase in all-cause mortality with like reduced grip strength, and which is, when you think about it, generally old people fall over in a bath, not be able to pull yourself up, and so it's quite an ironic thing. That and hot therapy has just gone nuts, I believe. Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be something else next week.
No, I think it's good. So if people are interested in them, where do they find you?
Absolutely. You can go on to UK Calisthenics org, so UK_calisthenics_org on Instagram. That's pretty much got everything. It's kind of our central hub of communications. If you go into the links in the bio, that's where you can find the upcoming courses and the registrations for the different disciplines and regional championships. So if anyone's thinking of jumping in, more than welcome to apply there.
What does the course network on your PT network look like now? Have you got many people?
It's quite large. There's some that I can't talk about because it's a super hush public sector project that we're working on.
Nice.
But yeah, it's quite extensive, and we've had really good feedback. We've had people that have done sort of high level sort of CrossFit gymnastics courses and things like that, and they've said that ours is very good in comparison, which is fantastic. And then we've taught some very educated people that go through 13 weeks of training in different CPD courses like kettlebells and that kind of stuff, and they've said that ours is definitely a good stand-up qualification.
And is there anything else that mirrors this globally?
So there's a bunch of different offerings. So the WSWCF have their own online digital trainer course that they run. The one that we offer currently is our level 1, so it's our entry level CPD, 6 hours, 1 day, sort of really grassroots level, get to the bare bones of what you really need to focus on when you're teaching the stuff. We're building out a level 2, and then the plan is to continue to do the level 3.
When will it be out?
That depends on our judging and standardizations lead and when he pulls his finger out.
What's his name?
Wodge.
Wodge, hurry up.
He's going to hate me for that. But yeah, so he's currently building that out. And then the plan from there is to have bolt-ons specific to those competition disciplines at level 3.
I like that.
So yeah, so it's really scalable. Obviously, there's some people that might want to just do it for their own personal benefit and not use it professionally. Absolutely recommend it.
Yeah, just really understand your body a bit more, getting more out of your workout, because you get people, especially in bodybuilding, who posing, coaching, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got a more greater mind-muscle connection, then like
100%, makes total sense. Yeah. Look, mate, so I'm so glad we invited you back. I know the first time I had a few bits going on, mate. I'd most certainly like to stay in touch. I think there's a few bits. You've triggered some stuff, so. Yeah, I've got to do some work outside of the stuff we do with the branding, blood testing. There's a whole load of stuff you've just triggered there, mate. So
brilliant.
And mate, just very inspiring to see how passionate you are about what I would consider as an emerging vertical in the fitness industry that I think is very much needed.
It's here to stay,
mate. Too right. Loves it that much. You cut you open, bleed, mate. Absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy. So that's a wrap for this episode of the Lyfelinez podcast. Huge thanks to Ben Lynch for bringing the energy and the insight, and for repping UK Calisthenics on the big stage. Super interesting to hear about that. If you found value in this, hit follow, share it with your crew, and don't forget to check out our latest drops. We've got Endure Plus. We've also got the new gummy lineup coming. Head over to lyfelinez.com. Till next time, stay sharp, stay fueled, and always push the line.